Yeah. What is
Yeah.
that?
What is that?
So bad.
You're hearing these flowers are
And
actually
the flowers too much.
they're
It's
just too weird. They're not helping.
Guys, there was lovely, like, both. Okay, we're live. Uh, Yay!
I'm a friend.
Congratulations.
Take me back.
So everyone is very welcome who's watching to the after party of the Wyvern Lingo Wake You Lie album launch. I know that so many of you are watching, and we saw all the comments. I talked to these wonderful women beforehand about whether or not we were going to try and act like that was live, and obviously that doesn't make sense because no one is that quick at sitting up with such finesse and a dressing room table as Karen. Like I wouldn't put it past you, but just there was no way of us making that look. So ladies, cheers, congratulations.
Cheers.
I want to start just straight away and have some ceremony with you guys getting back to the green room after your album launch. And I got in touch with a couple of people that I think would be with you in your green room if we were in the before time. So I'm just gonna mention three people. So number one, do you want to let the listeners know who Roger Quail is?
Oh, well, listeners, this album would not have happened were it not for Mr. Roger Quail and all his support and help. Roger is I suppose he's head of A&R at Rubyworks. Yeah. And he Rubyworks signed us 2015. So they have nurtured us, and in particular Roger would get right into the music and the tunes with us, and he knows every beat and note on that album and has been totally supportive the last few months in every step of the way. So we love Roger.
Okay, well, let me tell you. So Roger Quail would be in the green room now. So I asked Roger just for some comments and thoughts on working with you guys, and he sent me a thread. So it was the demo for Aurora, and you guys said, here's the latest song. Went a bit mad on the bridge, as you'll hear. And he said, I really like this, bit trippy, bit spaced out, but I would like to encourage you to go a bit mad more often. And you guys say, deadly, thank you, Roger. We're feeling a bit freer creatively. And Roger, I'm going to cry. Roger says, thanks, Karen, let your freak flag fly. So Roger, I just want to read out really quickly. Roger said, apart from Don't Say It, which they sent over in spring 2018, most of the songs on the new album came from a purple patch of collaborative playing and writing together. Previously, they had tended to write a song fully formed to the others, bring a song fully formed, having worked on it solo. This new way of working together was definitely a spark that triggered the feel of the new album. He says, this is like the Power Rangers. Karen's the organized one, Quee is the arty one. Saoirse's dead sound, sees through all the bollocks. And he says, I'm just really glad the record came out. Yeah, good, just paying attention. Roger says the demo for In Colour was barely a thing. I couldn't hear it at all, but they had a vision for it and stuck to their guns. I am in awe of them as musicians. They can, quote unquote, see the music. Wow. Roger Quail, welcome to the green room.
You already made me cry once today, Roger. God damn it.
Okay, who is Elizabeth Moen?
Oh,
it's been a very emotional couple of days for me, guys. Honestly. So tell people who Elizabeth is if they don't know who she is already.
Elizabeth Moen is a really good friend of mine, and I happened to meet her one night at the song cycle in Burke's in Whelan's in Dublin, and I sang a song and she sang a song, and then she just turned to me for one of her songs and asked me to sing harmonies on it, and I never heard it before, and we were just friends from then on, really, and I started playing drums with her. I've been over to the States to play with her, and she's just been one of my besties ever since knowing her. She's an amazing artist from Iowa, and I'm so curious to see what it is that she said.
Elizabeth says these three are ethereal. Their open hearts and talent have always been, have been and always will be what makes their songs and energy so welcoming to listeners. They're amazing humans and effortlessly talented, which translates into their music. I could listen to any of them play their instruments or sing all day long. As a musician and friend, I look up to them so much. I know how much thought and care has gone into this album, And I'm so thankful it's finally out for people to enjoy. Welcome to the green room, Elizabeth Bowen.
Hey! Liz.
Rowing team, our rowing team.
Yeah, we
always
Okay.
go back there.
We'll welcome one more person into the green room who is, I know, a friend. I know you're all mutual fans and everything. So who is Oisin Furlong?
wow. Oisin is again someone that I actually know because of Liz. Oisin is in Thumper, and so I've played with him and Liz for years now, actually, and I'm so curious to hear what it is that he said. This is like
the first time I saw Wyvern Lingo play was when we were on a bill together years and years ago in the Workman's Club. Even back then, their band was synonymous with vision and graft. Years later, nothing has changed. Their music is a world unto its own, something most artists can only aspire to. The fact that they're three sound cunts is you missed the last bit, lads. Hang on. The fact that they're three sound cunts is an added bonus. I'm so sorry, Hot Press, or any younger viewers. That was meant completely as a term of endearment. And I know the ladies wouldn't take offense. Okay, how are you all feeling? Tell me what that was like. So you were watching it for the first time.
Yeah.
Tell us how you're feeling.
It was.
I'm really proud of us. I think, like, you know,
I would be as well if I were playing those solos, Saoirse.
A moment for Saoirse.
Yes, there's been many moments in the comments for Saoirse. Shredder.
It's been mad. Like, obviously, you know, yeah, it's such a weird feeling. First of all, doing all this in COVID, doing the live stream with no like physical audience was actually really fun, but you know, we were imagining people, but it was odd. And then the last few days have just been insane and really, really busy. So finally watching it back and being able to like execute, I suppose, a visual idea and get this amazing camera crew and have these amazing people helping us to make it incredible was just so satisfying, because we've never gotten the chance to do that before. This is the first time we've ever done something of this scale that we're all just obsessed with. Like the set design Ling did was just amazing. Like the moon, like everything, all these little details that we never would have got to do. So yeah.
And I guess I think the magic in it and the smartness in it was that you didn't try and create a live gig. I think it's taken us all a long time to realize that that's painful. As a watcher and as a band, it's painful to actually do that, because we just all we see is the gaps. But you guys did something completely different. So tell us about the conception. Tell us about Ling. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
She spells it sometimes with a 1 instead of an L.
Yeah.
She's
guys, don't mess with me like that. I'm trying my best. It's too much.
Lingo's hard enough, like.
So yeah, tell us about Ling. Maybe if you guys want to just talk about Ling, the amazing Mermaid Arts Centre. That's another lump in my throat, I think, seeing the Mermaid Arts Centre commenting under the video saying it's so wonderful to have people back in the venue.
Yeah.
I mean, and to see that you guys showed those 3 different spaces too. So it couldn't, I mean, what a great advertisement, and with vaccines on the horizon and everything, we'll all be flocking to the Mermaid Arts Centre. So yeah, tell us about what when you first thought about this show, and go on.
Time, it feels like such an illusion at the moment. So like I remember saying to Ling, like, was this a month ago when we reached out to you about this? She was like, it was October. And I think we just had to make peace with the fact that live shows are not coming back as promptly as we would like. And we're so glad to have reached out to Ling Heaney. All of her work is always about like kind of creating these mad digital worlds and I guess a kind of escapism in her work. And so for us, she was the perfect person to visually represent the stuff that we were working on. She's also a really old friend. Karen and her grew up on the same road, and we went to school together.
Oh, no way.
I've known her since I was about 2 or 3.
Yeah.
She's amazing. And actually, this is really lovely. Our mothers like had an hour chat on the phone the other night about how great their children are.
Oh God.
Oh,
so lovely. Yeah, I know.
That's adorable, man. Fuck's sake. She's an absolute tank, and it was so fun to be able to make her kind of digital world into like like the 3D world, you know, into like the actual
Yeah.
physical stage. So she's just such a beast. It's just such an honor. And the Mermaid Arts Theatre, like we used to all go to like an acting kind of performing arts
academy
thing, like once a week.
Nice.
Can't you tell?
And the Mermaid is where we'd always put on these shows or like school concerts or school you know, musicals and stuff. So I was actually really glad you said that when you were doing your shout out to the Mermaid, Karen, that it is a place that we've kind of grown up as performers. So for us to do this big show there was really exciting for us, and yeah, it was, I think, like, you know, you could tell that they were happy to have something going on and something to focus their energy on.
I mean, they
maybe be able to give attention that they may not have been. I don't think any of us would have considered that level of set design. We'd be like, the budget needs to be tighter, so we wouldn't. We can't have backdrops. We can't have things like that. And now, I guess the Mermaid, and I hope they feel this way, and that they have this wonderful showcase of that room.
Yeah.
But the things you can do in a theatre like that it's just amazing. Like, we never have been able to hang. I mean, because you can see that Ling had hung everything at certain heights and she designed it all really well. And when we showed up, like, their team were able to get it all up on the the things,
the thingies, the long poly things at the top.
And you know, they were able to use the curtain. Like, it was just so exciting. And I suppose as well for us, like, we'd done the live thing before, and that was great, but like you were kind of saying, we've sort of learned that it's not the best thing to watch sometimes if it's awkward or if there's mistakes. So instead we were like, okay, how can we make this into a spectacle? Like, how can we make a sort of, and the thing is, like, you know, it was live in the sense that what we did there was live. That was what happened in the room. You know, happened as it happened and as you saw it. And shout out to James on sound, who just did the most insane job. And he listened to the album and like got all the effects right. And,
well, you proved it was live, because what was that word you messed up?
Without further ado.
I'm like, I could tell you all the mistakes.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that's my highlight. It's not that everything else wasn't magical, and I will focus on the music.
You know, the little intro.
It was mainly because Quiva didn't skip a beat. She's like, stunning. My only criticism about the set is that at one point when Saoirse was shredding like a god, I genuinely felt you might be lifted.
Oh my god!
Well, for the next show,
there are more, have bigger, better things planned. So.
Okay, amazing. Saoirse, can I ask you about Sydney?
Huh?
Can I ask you about Sydney?
Yeah, of course.
It's kind of, I think what Roger said was really a brilliant kind of intro to the conversation, because as he was saying before, that people might work on their own song solo and then bring it to the other two, whatever way it might work. It definitely feels like there's this beautiful symmetry happening between the three of you. And I don't know, I could be wrong. I don't know that I've heard you in the middle of a tune before like that. So tell us, let's shout out to your bro.
Yeah, well, if you're in Sydney watching it right now,
she better be.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, the time over there, it's really early, actually, early o'clock. But this song was really fun to write with you guys. Actually, we kind of just had the crack, really. And
well, but it was, I mean, you wrote everything. You wrote it all. We just arranged it together. But you had a pretty clear-cut idea. Like, you programmed. So she's pretty handy with like programming beats and stuff, and she came to us with a demo, and it was very much this like programmed beat that, like, you know, was pretty intimidating for Quiva to have to recreate, because it was just hats, and then
I'm still gonna make like a MIDI like sample of Karen's impressions of drums.
No,
and then let's make a beat with Karen. Can you just do like a hat? Unreal.
At least that's drummer language I can understand.
True.
I actually would prefer someone just shouting the name of the drum they want to use. So much simpler. So Saoirse, go on. Was it? I mean, it must have been a nice thing to be able to like pay tribute with like this deadly band to your brother.
Yeah, but like I think Oisin is kind of like an inspiration to me, as in like, you know, he was the one who actually did get up and leg it and get out and start again kind of thing, you know. So I'm like, Jesus, fair play to you, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, he was definitely a big inspiration for the song, and you know,
He's a twin as well. They're
Yeah.
twins. So she's a twin. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't
That's
know.
right.
I renamed one of my unicorns Sydney,
Oh, that's so
and this one's called Aurora.
Lovely.
They
This
better
is my
keep
Wyvern Lingo mood board.
It's gorgeous.
Stunning.
All the northern lights and everything.
Yeah, I love it.
And the
Oh.
We Will Dance Again, mother stuff. Karen, that's just from, let's say, your first album to Awake You Lie, which is such a nice, we can never let the album die, the art of the album die, because it's such an amazing opportunity for a listener to see people's personal and professional progression that we don't get to see any other way. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The most, I guess, obvious one is you went from Used to Rapture.
Yeah.
I mean,
I did.
shout out to Nico, who I think, I mean, it's such a, Rapture is a beautiful song. Actually, there was someone who mentioned that he's gonna, Colin in the comments said this is gonna be my wedding song.
Oh,
Colin, I hope you're engaged, or at least.
Colin. We'll totally play. If that's the case, it's an invite to your wedding. Let us know.
Yeah, exactly.
We love Colin. We're like Colin's biggest fan. He's actually releasing music under Dove songs very, very soon, and he's amazing.
Oh, so tell us about Rapture, and obviously Used was I mean, what a beautiful, I mean, it tears me up, that song.
Yeah.
Tears me up. And you put it in tonight. Was that with I was about to say why? Not, that wasn't meant to be criticism, obviously.
To remind people that
I should do that.
Just to really heartbreak. No, I suppose we wanted to include a couple of old tunes because we're aware that people were listening tonight and don't know the album, so they'd obviously heard like Don't Say.
Myself and Serge weren't into it.
Yeah,
we were trying to be like, no, just the album.
Yeah,
just the
and I
album.
was
No, it's a tough.
People are paying
call.
money to
People what they
show.
want. I was like, you
We're
know,
like, that's not the concept.
But you know the way if you go and see, like, you don't want to go and
totally,
see.
You're right.
I love Paul Simon. You don't want to go and see Paul Simon and then play only his new stuff. Do you know what I
Dude,
mean?
I'm pretty sure my old band broke up over this very conversation. So I'm just amazed. I'm amazed that you guys were able to do this, and we're like, compromise. Was that what it's called?
Yeah.
Wow.
We put in moments. We wanted to do like different versions of stuff. So that's why we did them outside of the set and like outside of the theme, I suppose, the visual theme of the album, which is why we decided to do them up in the gallery and in the rehearsal room. But I mean, I wrote Used when I was we were really like young. Like I think that was my first real taste of like proper nasty heartbreak, you know.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it, and you know it never feels as bad as it does then, and you know that's, you know, it's that time in your life where it's just the worst. And I suppose it's also an egotistical matter because your ego is growing and learning as well, and then you feel this massive ego bruise and you just can't handle it. So that's what that song is born out of, and in a way I love it because it resonates with people still, but happily, you know, doesn't really apply to me anymore.
Yeah, Nico, welcome to the green room. Nico, welcome to the green room. I mean, we don't like to give other people credit for our own happiness, obviously. I mean, you had to do a lot of growing yourself to be in a position where you were able to accept this new love and everything. But I just love that so much from album 1 to 2, that there's something so apparent in your progression. And I'm firm in my need to reiterate about the importance of an album, because it's, you know, if we write songs just as individual things, the pressure on them is crazy. If we get to write albums, it's like it's a full picture. There's no huge emphasis on one thing, maybe. Caoimhe, there's there's a place. Rona, why'd you have to go?
She sent me a text actually during the gig being like, you bastard. What did she call me? She called me some sort of mean name. She called me a little wagon. I'm bawling.
I can't believe that you suggested she said bastard. You were like, it was something like bastard. Oh no, it was a little wagon.
I throw that term around very, very casually.
Okay, so
calls us in rehearsal, MayKay.
Oh, I can only imagine. I've heard rumors, Karen. I've heard rumors. So Caoimhe, tell us. Sorry, I know that it's fairly apparent that Bronagh sing, but the bit about the garden and like the refrain and that, was it really important to you to keep repeating that bit to drive it home for her that that's always there?
For me, that I remember when we went into the studio to record that, and Axel was like, what do you mean by that? Because he thought, like, you know, if there's a place for someone in the garden, it kind of sounds like, are you going to bury them? Which is not what I had.
Axel!
I forgot that.
Man, German.
Like, no, it's not like it hadn't, you know, that's definitely like, you know, could be interpreted that way, but that's not how I meant it. I was actually kind of thinking about, I've known Bronagh since we were well, not really. I was kind of thinking about, I've known Bronagh since we were like used age, like 20, I suppose, 19, 20. And whenever we'd have sessions in my parents' house, the nicest moment would always be kind of whoever had stayed over hanging around in the back garden.
Totally.
You know, and you're all just having that like that kind of sleepy hungover lull, and it's almost like, you know, there's this really like nice kind of feeling of having survived battle together the next morning, and it's just almost like the nicest moment. So it was just kind of like missing her in that scenario, you know, and she was having a tough time when she was away. She was kind of falling out with people and they're misunderstanding her, and I was just like trying to get the message across that like she'll never let me down in that way, or we'll never fall out in that way, you know, the kind of way. So yeah,
the whole album feels like a kind of an ode from all of you to people and places that you love.
Yeah.
Which is weird because this was all done before pandemic, but it's become so. Karen, you're freaked out by that. You're like, no, as in I mean, you're feeling that.
My what?
As in, you looked like you were like, yeah, it's crazy because it does seem so relevant to the.
No, it does. Like people keep in interviews and stuff. People keep saying that to us, and they're like, "And you didn't write these songs during the pandemic?" I'm like, "No." Like, I'm like, Jesus, what troubles did we think we had? Like,
oh, I know, but I think that's the thing, is that none of you are really talking about. Maybe apart from Caoimhe, ask away. I mean, you say it, but I don't think you mean it, do you? Don't ask me anything.
Yeah.
Like, I dare you to ask me that again.
Yeah. That's a different tangent now. We can go off.
It is a different tangent. And actually, while maybe there's still some little ones watching, one of the many benefits of this show being online, and one of the many benefits of so many shows being online, is a whole younger audience getting to see these shows. So Kevin Phelan said, my 7-year-old daughter's first gig, and she's loving it. Amazing. Sienna says, Sienna, age 6. Well, I know I dropped a C-bomb there. But actually, Oisin Furlong did. Typical man. Sienna, 6, says you were all amazing at everything, and she loved the last song of the album on stage.
Aww.
And we have a question from Ava Jean Barry, who's 9, and I play guitar. What age did you start the guitar? Maybe Saoirse, would you, or bass, whichever, would you answer that and give some advice to Ava Jean Barry?
I started guitar when I was 10 or 11. My elder brother Killian taught me how to play. So yeah.
And did you do any online training or stuff, or did you get a teacher?
No, I really should.
Wait, what did I say? I wasn't suggesting.
Did you get any?
Are you going to get lessons at any point, or?
No, I've never got lessons, but I do regret not having lessons. So if you get lessons, do get them.
Yeah.
Really send it when you're a kid, because then you don't have to worry about it when you're
Also, like what we did when we were that age was just we played together. You know, that's how we became friends, is because we were that age and we would just sit around and play songs together. I know you can't do that physically right now, but if you've got any friends who want to go on Zoom and try and play something together or record something and send it back and forth, you know.
And what we would love to see is you guys playing a Wyvern Lingo song together and sing if it would improve your stuff. So to Kevin Phelan's daughter and to Sienna and to Ava Jean Barry, I'm so glad that you could watch Wyvern Lingo play. So I know you're probably hearing a lot of stuff about the lockdown and everything, but what a great thing to hear. And also the other thing about these shows is that we've got listeners from France, South California, Western Australia, awake at 4 a.m, not regretting it. Berlin, Bray, Christchurch, New Zealand, Roscommon, Connemara, Haltern in Germany. I mean, that's just a sprinkling. So there's all ages across the globe. Okay, I want. Sorry, I need to make sure that I've. Okay. I also wanted to make sure that people know who watch the show that this was COVID compliant AF. I know that I get nervous sometimes watching TV shows that were filmed 10 years ago when I see people hugging and I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
So everyone should know that it was, that was first and foremost, none of this would have been worth doing if it wasn't safe. And the girls and their team made super sure of that.
And we are working together, so that's why we're this close.
It's really intense. Help us.
Yeah, just blink twice if you need me to get out of there. So a big thing. So I love the Irish music scene is amazing at the moment. Amazing.
Yeah.
But there's been a thing that has bothered me a bit about art can be competitive, but it shouldn't be a competition. So the thing with Ireland is, unfortunately, there are a finite amount of slots on TV shows, on radio, in print, paper and everything. So it forces us into a position where we have to be a bit competitive, and that's not cool. What about the Berlin move? If anything, did you get that different perspective on art in a way?
Big time. I mean, I think you're immediately aware of how much bigger everything is, you know, because it's not just Berlin, it's all of Germany. I mean, it's huge, and there's so many, you know, they don't have one national broadcaster. They have like, it's all split up into regions. So there's like, you could get radio play on the Berlin area, or you could get radio play on the Southwest area. Shout out to Southwest Radio too, who have made us album of the week.
Welcome to the green room.
Yeah, welcome to the green room. But yeah, so like, yeah, you're so much more aware of the volume of it, and yeah, there just seems to be a lot more bands, a lot more different types of music and different types of art forms that are thriving, which is very exciting. We're still really only dipping the big toe in, like we still need to kind of learn more about it. But I definitely think it doesn't feel as small as Ireland's scene, even though I think we're small but mighty.
Oh yeah, no, totally. And I think that goes without saying that we're not and now that I've mentioned children's names, we're not weighing on anything. It's a fact that when there's less space, people have to fight for it a bit more. And I guess with the loss of like Phantom, TXFM, things like that, that we do, and it informs the way we write, which is crazy. I mean, that's Roger said that you guys had a clear discussion about not focusing on radio and singles. Does that ring a bell?
It does. Actually, do you know something you said, MayKay, earlier was when you said about not focusing on trying to write one song and trying to like working on an album. I think that almost sent you off in a.
I was like, interesting.
Go for it.
No, but I think that's actually exactly the difference between our first and second albums, is that this album was not about songs, because when you're writing songs in that sense, you're really looking for singles, radio singles, and for Roger to turn around to us, our label or to turn around to us and say, band, forget about singles. He always calls us band. It's funny. Hi band.
Morning band.
Forget about and and that was very important for us to hear, because it meant that we could just, you know, forget about those pressures, and I suppose once you have any kind of restriction, it's just not going to be good, is it? You know, it's just not going to be good art. So
especially when you're trying to, I mean, everybody does it who, you know, is working with the team like that. You send off songs and you get a response that's no, this isn't a hit. Do you know what I mean? And you might have, especially for us, our music is really personal, you know, so it's like, brilliant, you know, or, oh, brilliant, another ballad. You're like, my feelings, you know, so it can be quite jarring in that way to write stuff. But for us, we were just, I guess, I feel like our relationship with the label on this one was great, and we just had so much trust. And
actually, can we just have a big shout out to Peter Ashmore, who mixed the album?
Oh yeah, and sorry, Axel as well. I know that
And congrats to Uncle's new baby. He sent me a photo.
No, really? No.
We don't have-
Show me this.
He sent photos. Of
Who just said? Did you just say? Can I show it?
Yeah.
No, not to you guys. I meant to them because it's
I'm not now, Karen.
really cute. Really cute new baby. Congrats to Axel's new baby.
They all look like Phil Mitchell, Karen, and you know they do.
You.
They
No,
do.
this one doesn't. Anyway,
I should say as well for just for my own thing that our second album with Ruby Works, Roger was the exact same.
Nice.
Like, do your thing.
Yeah.
It's a really incredible thing, and I suppose in fairness, there's probably a lot of like independent, really small labels watching, going, "We'd love to do that, we just don't have the money." But I actually, you know, it's they've gotten themselves into a place where they're able to nurture artists like that, and that's a really wonderful thing. So, tell me about Janice Ian and how the Better Times video came about, and a boat and Berlin.
yeah, that's good.
Go.
That's a lot. Go.
I'll go, Janice. You.
I'll go both.
Okay,
Janice.
Janice.
Go.
I'm happy.
Give Saoirse a base.
Sorry.
All right. Oh, you go, because that's you.
Okay, Janice, who is
And you-
amazing. It actually it all begins on the boat. Queeve and I were on the boat one day, rehearsing. I know we were recording. I think we were finishing boat.
Don't just say the boat. You have to
No,
describe.
we'll
You're
explain what
jumping
the
into
boat
the
is.
boat story.
But basically,
She's encroaching on my story.
I'm sorry, Jesus.
Oh.
It's all coming out. now,
Janice
lads.
Ian emails out of nowhere. She emailed Roger and was like, "Hi Roger, I'm Janice Ian, and I'm doing this project, and I suppose the point of her project is to kind of like lift up people in the music industry, because she knows that obviously this is a terrible time for the music industry. So she had recorded just on her phone this beautiful song, just a cappella, and she put up lyrics, and it had gotten a really, really good response, and it was called Better Times. So then she was kind of like, I don't know how exactly, if it started, did someone just do a version of it and it sparked this idea? Anyway, she's basically reached out to loads of people like all across the world. So there's versions of the song in Japanese, there's versions of the song. There's actually a couple of like trad versions of the song in Irish as well. There's like the people from every corner of the world have done a version. And she asked us, she just said that she found us through a friend of hers who presents on Crack Radio, which is like an American Irish radio station. And would they be interested? Yeah. And so, yeah, mad. So then we just started emailing, and Quiva, that like the day before, had been teaching herself at 17 on the guitar. And then it's just like she writes really beautifully, and she like sends us these really long, really detailed, like full of personality emails, and we've just been having this lovely back and forth, and she's just been amazing. And she called us her current favorite trio, which was pretty big deal, because she's an absolute beast.
Yes.
We love Janice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are you about to talk about a boat?
I'll talk about the boat.
You just have the look of someone who's about to talk about a boat.
Yeah.
And then the boat. Well, we played a gig in Berlin a couple of years ago, and one of our crew members, but our very good friend Saoirse Paz, knew this guy who owned a Saoirse, yeah, exactly. He knew a guy who owned a boat, and they were having a party, and so myself and Saoirse went over, and we were like, what the hell is this? It's like, it used to be a restaurant. It's right like by this gorgeous park, like on the river. Like you can see all of the like landmarks of Berlin from this boat. And it's, thanks Karen. And it's like the top half is like office spaces and the bottom half. And it's nice. She just said.
I said it's amazing.
Oh, you heard it's nice.
No.
Oh, I was like, it's so underwhelming.
No, it's amazing.
It used to be a restaurant. The top level is like office, and then the bottom level is like properly like recording studio.
Basically.
Like and drums and all. So every time I was back in Berlin, I just pop in and be like, hey, just saying hello. And then, eventually it was like, do you need a space here? And we were like,
guys, that's what networking is, by the way. For people,
I know.
For people who are like, I'm no good at this stuff. It's like, no, you just keep going back to the place that you like. That's what networking is. It's not a bad word. It's brilliant.
I would have hated that previously, but it's just like, I want to be friends with that person. So I'm going to keep at it.
But actually, shout out to Toshi. I know Toshi and Anya watched the gig. I'm not sure if they're watching now, but since then, they have basically taken us under their wing and just been so good to us since we've been in Berlin. Like they're basically our Berlin mom and dad.
Oh,
They're so
Total
amazing.
legends.
And
Total
they're such
legends.
interesting people. They've like, worked on the music scene for years and just done really cool stuff. And they've been so supportive. They're still so supportive. We can't wait to go back to see them. We miss them.
Yeah.
So
they better be watching. Oh,
yeah.
So nice.
guys, I need to. So Kellyanne Byrne is raving loads about the show and saying those harmonies are so brilliant.
Listen to Kellyanne all the time on TXFM.
Can she come into the green room?
I would love her to come and talk.
Welcome to the green room. It's that time of night, you had your initial 3 or 4 people that are allowed in, and now it's like, get in. Nyla and Claire, Ruth Medjbear, like, it's just, someone has commented saying, Wyvern Lingo are putting Bray back on the map. Did someone take Bray off the map?
Well, I think it's fair to say, especially when we were kind of...
You don't know where I'm from, you see. We were never on a map. We're on from Kildare. It's a place called, thank you for asking. It's a place called Ard Clock in County Kildare, County Champions 2019.
That's lovely. No, but Bray had a bit of a bad rep for a while, and especially we were like teenagers, when the last recession was hitting, and it was a bleak enough time for a lot of places in Ireland. But I used to get slagged in college about being from Bray. That's how, do you know what I mean? But Bray had a bad rep. So we used to kind of be
for being a rough place.
Like, yes, hello, look at me. Like,
but
apparently it was a bit of, it had a bit of a rep, and not that we were that aware of it, to be honest. But so then we started this kind of like adamant. Well, actually, Rachel Sweeney started Bray Slash.
She did.
And we used to just be like Bray Slash, Bray Slash, Bray Slash. Kind of like really like oddly regionalistic about our town. And then like Bray has done amazing things.
No, Bray is class.
Well, I just mean there's lots of great businesses, there's lots of great restaurants. Boxburger, who fed us.
It's true.
At the Harbour Bar, like there's some great spots, great music spots. The Mermaid, like it is buzzing. I feel like Bray has put itself on the map, but we're just.
Oh, well, now I feel bad. So sorry to whoever said that. Then that's a fair point. Apparently, you can drop into the green room. Sorry, so I can apologize to you for being rude about what you said. So in terms of how, I don't know, you've made something really special out of tonight, when it could have been, you could have done nothing. Was there any time that you thought lockdown might be lifted by the time the album comes around?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, every day, Mary.
I mean, back last summer, yeah, we thought lockdown would be.
At Christmas,
sure,
I was like, oh, come on, we might just make it. And then she
I kind of knew that it wouldn't, to be honest. I wasn't holding out.
Why didn't you say something?
You should have told all of us.
I know. No. We did have like rescheduled gigs that kept having to be changed, but like I don't think you can plan anything like more than like a month in advance now. And even still, it's like that could just get the rug pulled out from under it, really. So
yeah. But there's something wonderful in that space between your songs that, like, there's beauty in it to have to just sit in silence. Because I mean, as Irish people, this is a huge generalization and sweeping and possibly offensive, but I'm saying, but my mouth is still open, so apparently I'm saying it. But that it's tough to be alone with your thoughts sometimes, and alone with your feelings and your emotions. And those gaps between songs where I desperately want to clap or hug someone or shift someone, who knows? Mm-hmm. There's something really centering and grounding in actually having to let that last note ring out and just be like, that's the song. That's what we wrote. Those are the lyrics. That was my feeling.
Yeah.
I guess feel that way?
For us watching it back, I think, like saying here, it was so funny. We were watching it with Nico and we were just going out on this. Oh, and gosh, and then would you look at the state of that? Nico's like,
oh no. I'm glad.
Like just kind of, I guess, picking it apart. So when it's over, we're all kind of taking a breath, be like, right, yeah, okay. All right, let's see what the next one's like. There was a bit of that kind of feeling post song. So I don't know. I mean, I have seen other streams and there's been that weird feeling of like, I feel like I'm watching live music, but then there is this like
reflection time.
Yeah. And it is quite strange, I suppose, So it's been really weird for us to try and like figure out how to make this as much of an actual like gig experience for people in a different way, because obviously it's not the same as being at a gig. There's no two ways about it. So I mean, what we tried to do was do things like, you know, create these like custom cocktails with my cousin Rob McCarthy.
Oh, sorry, please, can we talk about this? Because I know we have to wrap things. This could be a 4 a.m. job if I had my way, by the way.
I probably will be over here.
You can call us back.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll send you separately.
You know.
But sorry. Okay, so I grew up with a lad that lived up my road called David Lynch, right? So when people say something about David Lynch, I'm always like, that's not a thing. But I mean, your cousin is a pretty impressive. Sorry, your cousin is not David Lynch, I should say that.
Oh, no.
But he's a pretty impressive person. I mean, he's a serious, I bet he doesn't like the word mixologist, which I don't. It's a nonsense word.
That's why I've just been like, and then I asked him, do you like Cocktail Wizard? And he did my back fast enough. So I was like, brilliant. That's what I'm going with, Cocktail Wizard. Yeah, he's a total beast. Like that I actually popped into that nightclub that he was working in, Silencio in Paris. And like, it was like underground. It's super like, I should not have been there. It was really exclusive, like really like black everywhere. You open one like random door and it's a like movie theater and there's a David Lynch movie playing. And you're just like, oh, close that door and carry on into like this.
I love that confidence, you know. I get shy inviting people to gigs. I'd love to bring people to a club where I'm like, come watch my other art piece in this room.
Yeah. And so he's just a total beast. So thankfully he was really up for doing it and designed all these delish cocktails, which he like did it in mind of people who were like at home and not able to get all the stuff that they usually be able to get. I actually had a bit of trouble finding lavender myself, but we got there in the end, and so did lots of other people. So great. But
let's give him a quick shout out, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, I'm sorry that I don't have lavender Earl Grey tea syrup lying around. And then if I'd only waited 3 seconds, I would have seen that he's given a recipe for it. So I know lots of people are doing sourdough banana bread type of thing.
Yeah,
this is a really gorgeous, and it fits my mood board. And Sydney and Aurora are they don't drink. They're unicorns. They can't pee. So anyway. But yeah, so shout out to Quiva's cousin, Rob McCarty, of the Little Atlantique Brewery.
Yes.
For these amazing, and it just adds to the kind of ceremony for you guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we ordered some pizzas just before we watched the stream, and got them to make them into a calzone. I was trying to like get them to make it into like a crescent moon calzone, and your man on the phone was like, yeah, and I was like, brilliant. And they arrived and they were just like normal.
Sorry, imagine what they're talking about you guys like in the place. You'd want to have heard the phone call I just got. She wanted me to make it.
I think that was very reasonable.
I mean, knowing what I know, it is reasonable. That's imagine. So I know we have to wrap up, but and I'm going to leave final comments to you guys. But before we go, Karen, I was talking to you about this yesterday about maybe, I know it's kind of late, but the wonderful thing about watching a Wyvern Lingo show, of lots of wonderful things, is the audience. And I've gotten to see you with other voices, where you've become way more Destiny's Child emotions on this album, which is
thank you.
That's maybe very like relevant because that's a Bee Gees cover, and I feel like
exactly
it's all been like very kind of that's the song. And so
guys, you can tell you're on lockdown together.
Yeah. Help me, please.
Tough to watch.
But actually,
no, I'm joking. It's not tough to. I'm joking. It's lovely. I'm joking.
No, but sorry, you were making a good point. Go on.
I can't remember. It's derailed.
You were saying that it was Destiny that they were doing a cover of Bee Gees, which is interesting because that's kind of
70s, that whole era of music, inspiring the album. It's a whole thing, etc.
And with that in mind, I got to see you guys side of stage, and I got to see the audience, which has been amazing, because there were so many young women, and I know that we don't like to often focus on that because we're trying for it to not be a thing, but it is a thing. So we still have to talk about it.
Totally.
But for young women, they don't just feel safe coming to a Wyvern Lingo show. They feel nurtured and they feel seen. And I used to think that, like, when people said I feel seen, that it was just one of those words, like one of those phrases that I'm too old to understand or something. But now I get it. I get it so much. To feel seen is amazing. And that's, I suppose, the lovely thing about this album for me anyway, is to think that the type of music that that same generation of women are seeing. So if, I'm sorry, not just young women, sorry, young people in general, of course, but if there are any young people watching and maybe got a bit of a knock this week about maybe the furthering of lockdown, or women of 34 years of age who got a bit of a knock this week, do you think there's a way that art or whatever, give me some advice, the Wyvern Lingo words of wisdom?
I mean, we were already saying this recently, that for us, like, music and writing songs is so cathartic. Like, we've been so lucky, not only that we are able to do it, because, not that I'm saying, I think everyone's able to do it, but you know what I mean, that's what
that's a total privilege, yeah,
for our life. It's so cathartic. It means that every little feeling you're dealing with generally is teased out in some sort of song or something, or even if it's just practicing, and that's really important. But also that we're able to do that together has just been kind of an amazing thing for us over the last couple of years. And I think it's really important now more than ever for people to try and connect properly with each other. I know that we're all sick of Zooms, we're all sick of digital contact, and it must feel really lonely for people who are looking forward to going to college or looking forward to going back to school. Like, I can't imagine, like, I mean, you know, that's where your best social days are, you know, when you're constantly surrounded by people. So I totally feel for anyone who's in that position, and I would say try collaborate creatively if you can, no matter what way that is, with other people, and enjoy it, because working together with people on something artistic and musical, there is no greater payoff.
And I think as a practical way, I suppose, if you, like, some people, when they hear like work with people, they're like, I want to, but I don't know how to. I mean, you can download backing tracks if you're a singer and send it to your friend who might play bass. You know, there's lots of, so maybe through your page or something in the next couple of days, you could share some practical, like just what you said there is perfect. I think could be. Anyway, sorry, go on. Next.
I was going to say, should we maybe, if there's any questions in the comments, because I just had an eye.
Yes.
I don't know if there were any questions. I just know that there were some comments. They could have just been full of banter now. I don't know if they were questions.
Most of them were just calling Saoirse a beast.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Saoirse, have you any advice for anybody who might be looking towards music for something new to do or some comfort over the next while?
Yeah, I think, like, the main thing is just, like, don't be afraid of it. And I know it's easier said than done, but, like, do throw yourself out there. And we all kind of write in journals or notebooks or diaries or whatever you want to call it, but we all do that on the daily. And that's just, I think that's just really good for anyone's mental health, whether there's a lockdown or not. And just try to do one nice thing for yourself. If you're feeling shitty, just be like, you know, do something nice, whether it's like,
you did the great against the clock things. Tell them about that.
Do against the clocks, which is 10 minutes on the clock, and you write a song in 10 minutes. Could be shocking, could be class.
I know, and don't be afraid to write something shit.
Most of my stuff.
Work through the dung, lads.
See, I think obviously to try and be optimistic, if you're in a situation where you can be optimistic, you know, I so feel for people who are missing out on kind of milestone moments in their life.
Totally.
And you know, because those are really unique experiences. And I guess I would just say, try and figure out a way, if you can, if you have the energy, and it's so understandable not to have the energy, but to make this unique experience, you know, to because it's obviously horrible and strange, but is there some way that you can turn this into something positive, or this unique moment in time and history? Is there anything that you could do to make it a positive? Like, you know, and I'm not saying, you know, I you know, keep seeing this meme of like a pandemic is not a residency.
Yeah.
You know, doesn't have to be the time when you do your big creative masterpiece that you
Never felt so sane.
Yeah, right. But you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't have to be the moment when you do the big thing, but it might be the moment where you master banana bread, or you know what I mean? All that. I know that's like, I know that's kind of obvious, but you know, just trying to find something that makes this a unique moment in your life, the best that you can. Be that through music or anything else.
Yeah. And I think for so many people, the unique moment has been knowing that they were working too hard before, or knowing that they weren't giving enough time to themselves and all these things. I think the problem that happens sometimes is these words get skewed. It's like self-care is like, it's so annoying. It's literally just the word caring for yourself. It's actually not that bad an idea, you know.
Totally.
So listen, we have to say goodbye.
That's okay. We need to top up our cocktails.
Can you tell people, please, do the sales pitch, please, with the album for anybody who's watching? How can they support you guys? How can they hear this song? How can they hear this album? How can they get it? Wait, what?
It's all over the internet.
Why was that the most difficult question?
Because all I can say is buy it.
I'll answer this one. You can buy it online. You can buy it at our store. Oh, he brought the ice. Sorry, we're just getting it. We're getting it.
Nico,
it's roasted.
give me a look at him.
Nico, people want to see you.
Hey, yes. What's the great?
Sweetheart.
How are you fix?
Come on, you little rapture.
Where did you text him?
Well, you know, can't wait for the few pics.
Nico!
That's what she said.
No.
It's all legit. It's all legit.
Anyway, no, as I was saying, our album.
Yes.
No, you can get it on our online store. You can also I actually want to give a big shout out to Tower Records and Gold Discs who've been supporting us loads. And yeah, don't forget
and Annie Yob.
And Annie, oh my god, I'm open for Annie Yob.
Oh my god.
He is the same.
Can we give Annie Yob a virtual hug?
Yeah, if we can give her, she'll come into the dressing room and have silence for how amazing she's been.
Yeah.
She has been.
Tell people who Annie Yob is.
So Anna came on
She's amazing.
Anna came on the Rubik's team a couple of months ago, like not that long ago, as did Elaine and Veronica, all the way, by the way, just a moment for them as well, because they all came on to this kind of campaign that had already started, I suppose. And I suppose we've all been working together for so long, us and Roger and Niall, for them to just like jump on board. It must have been weird. Like it must have been that
was a good noise.
Crazy. But yeah. Yes. So
sorry, I'm delaying this. Go on.
No, but basically they've all done an incredible job, and Anna has come on board and helped us an awful lot with kind of our online stuff. She had a huge hand in putting the stream together and put us in touch with Jar, who directed the actual filming of it, which was amazing. And because of Anna and Elaine, we have got this National Concert Hall Award, which we're going to be which we're going to be turning into kind of like basically like a second part in this kind of visual thing. Yeah, so
this is going to be part 2.
Yeah, we're going to go bigger.
Stunning.
Yeah, we're gonna have the app.
We're gonna be flying from the ceiling.
I was just about to say, and maybe Saoirse will take off. Who knows? I don't know. So Karen, give me the pitch for anyone who doesn't have the album. They need to go to wyvernlingo.com.
You go to our store, you can get physical CDs, you can get vinyl. We've got these nice t-shirts that I happen to be wearing. We've got tote bags, we've got some lovely prints of Ling's artwork. You can also download it if that's easier for you.
And tonight's show, can they see tonight's show again?
So it's up for 24 hours.
Okay.
And we are working on extending that. So keep an eye on our socials. Sláinte.
Sneakily made some keys there. Cheers to you.
MayKay, yeah, but don't be afraid. If you've got a local CD shop that you used to love going to, or a local vinyl shop, like please keep them in mind. You can order our album from there as well. A lot of the Golden Discs and Tower Records are in the Country Music Zone in Cork. They're all selling it, so keep them in mind. They're also trying to survive, and we hope that they reopen and that they reopened happily. So
Well, it has been a huge honor to have been able to chat to you guys on this, the eve of your second album launch for Awake You Lie. I am going to break your bones with hugs when I'm allowed to. It's going to be so huge. Thank you so much.
can I say 3 more thank yous? Sorry, I'm just.
Oh my God, please.
Rory Murphy, who is responsible for all of
Legend.
our press, hot press, and everything.
Legend.
Tina's in Rory.
Welcome to the green room.
Welcome to
Hey.
Rory. Sabrina Sheehan, who has been pitching our stuff to the radio.
Legend.
You've heard us on the radio. It's likely because of Sabrina. Thank you so much to Sabrina. I also want to just give a shout out to Wallace Bird, who has also been like our guiding angel for the last year.
And your fellow German Irish kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she basically like schooled us in doing live streams. So thank you, Wallace.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
You're the best.
And okay, anyone else? Sorry, I know when you start, it's like.
No, I think I had them in my mind. I think I really hope we've got everyone now.
And shouts to your families and your friends and everybody who's made this all. Hi, love. I'm joking.
Thanks for everything.
No,
You're welcome. I thought that was funny. Listen, I'm so and to Rowan in Hot Press.
Oh yeah.
thank you so much,
Guys.
and
thank
Miguel,
you.
you make photos. Thank you, Miguel, and all the team.
Oh, and Denise and Con for letting us live here.
Sorry,
actually.
Denise and Con and Conor
Yeah.
I knew this would happen.
On and on.
have left search and creepily.
Search with the big one. And maybe anyway, you thank each other for our so we can just go on, just do it. This is like Christmas crackers. I hate this. I love this. Okay, guys, Awake You Lie. What an incredible achievement. Congratulations. Thank you so much for tonight.
Yay.